Now we'll be discussing a very interesting MRI angiography of the brain. Now we know that this is arch of aorta. This is the aorta from which the main arteries for the brain arise. So the first artery is that comes on the right side is brachiocephalic trunk, and this brachiocephalic trunk gives branch to common carotid artery as well as right subclavian artery. So these both branches are of this brachiocephalic trunk. On the right side, definitely here it is written that is right side, whereas on the left side the second branch, the largest second branch of arch of aorta is the common carotid artery, and this is common carotid artery. So this common carotid artery goes up and it gives, at this level, it gives two branches. One is internal carotid artery, which goes and forms the circle of Willis, and the second one is external carotid artery. So this internal carotid artery directly gives branch like anterior cerebral artery, middle cerebral artery, and these basically with the posterior circulation they complete the circle of Willis. So we can see both sides of the internal carotid artery, which goes up and forms the circle of Willis. So this is at this level, which we can very clearly say this is the common carotid artery, and this is giving this internal carotid artery, and this is external carotid artery at this level. So this is common carotid artery that is going up, and the third branch is the subclavian artery. This left-sided subclavian artery is a direct branch from this arch of aorta, which gives this vertebral artery as a branch, and this vertebral artery goes up above, and this in then it joins with the right-sided vertebral artery to form this basilar artery, pontine artery, and then it gives the branch like posterior cerebral arteries. So this is the posterior circulation. So this is posterior circulation, and this is anterior circulation or the rest of the circulation for the brain. Now here it is very interesting thing which we can see is when we see the bilateral arteries, what we can see is here this where what we're talking about is common carotid artery. You can see the caliber, which is pretty good, which is pretty wide. But here on the left side, this common carotid artery is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Here it is so much small. The caliber of this common carotid artery is significantly smaller when we compare to on the right side. So here the caliber is pretty wide, but here the caliber is very small, and this artery has been getting smaller and smaller in diameter in the lumen. It means there is significant narrowing in this area, there is significant constriction in this area, means it is very highly likely that there is significant atherosclerosis or thrombosis all along this common carotid artery, causing luminal narrowing of this common carotid artery. The next thing, this we know is vertebral artery because this is arising from this subclavian artery, and we can come to know because this artery is going and it is joining this contralateral vertebral artery forming the basilar artery. So we know that this is vertebral artery. Then this is common carotid artery. So it means from here we should have two arteries. One is internal carotid artery and one is external carotid artery, which we can see here. So this is the bifurcation area. This is internal carotid artery and this is external carotid artery. But here we are not able to see one of the artery, either internal carotid artery or external carotid artery. Now when we see that this artery, when we see that this artery after going above, this is basically uh, these two arteries are joining here, or these two arteries are coming close together and they are contributing to the circle of Willis, means they are uh, going into the brain, means this must be the internal carotid artery because it is joining or it is simply going to the brain. But It means that there is no external carotid artery which we can very clearly see on this. Means there must be significant thrombosis of this external carotid artery. That artery must be completely thrombosed. That is the reason why this external carotid artery is not visible. So this is the internal carotid artery. And one more interesting thing is there seems to be significant aneurysm of this internal carotid artery at its origin, because this is the origin of internal carotid artery. Here this lumen is pretty good. The lumen, it doesn't appear dilated, but when we see on the left side, this lumen of this internal carotid artery seems to be so much dilated, suggestive of aneurysmal dilatation. So in this, there is significant thrombosis luminal narrowing, which is highly suggestive of either there is thrombus all along this region or significant atherosclerosis. The external carotid artery is completely not visible, mostly because of the thrombosis at origin only, and there is significant aneurysmal dilatation of common carotid artery. So these are very interesting findings to see, and that's all for today. Thank you.